Okay. Which camera do I look at?
The views and opinions expressed in
You
this
look at that
program
camera.
are those of the speakers and do not
Yeah.
necessarily reflect the views or positions of any entities they represent.
Some music from Cameron Ward as Lekker in die Lotus. Before that, Marsha with Hey Lig Me Op. 24 Skies with This Is Freedom. It is 29 minutes after 5 o'clock. I have got Mr. Beau, who is a salt chef, on the line. In fact, hop on over to our not Instagram, excuse me, Facebook and YouTube pages. We are live. Now, Easter is on its way, and of course, as mentioned, the salt chefs Beau de Toit as well as Craig Cormack have put together a slight twist to what we know as a classic Easter dish with their pomegranate pickled fish recipe. We're chatting about that, but also chatting about how they got into the industry of food and loving food. A very good afternoon to you, Beau.
Good afternoon. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you so much for joining us. I hope your Tuesday, I almost said Thursday, your Tuesday is going well.
Yeah, it's been a busy couple of weeks, so it's very good day.
Fantastic. Beau, chat to us about your love and your passion for food. What and when and how? What does that look like?
I think everyone's got their grandmother's story. As I used to cook with my grandma and all of that. Mine's actually not that. So when I finished school, I wanted to. Well, I didn't really know what I wanted to do, so I started studying accounting, and that got boring. And I'm someone that is very social. So I need people around me. I need to do things, and at that stage, Jamie Oliver was quite big, and I think he brought in the Naked Chef and all of these things. So cooking became quite a good thing, and I started looking at what we ate at home, and I went, surely it has to be better than this. And then I started looking at changing a couple of things we did at home, and fell in love with cooking. I ended up cooking every single day, and following and trying to make new recipes. So.
I want to ask you, I mean, I love cooking, but I almost I need to get into a mental space to cook. So I don't know if you've heard of such loving cooking, but hating it at the same time. I don't know.
Yes, no, don't worry. We get it on a daily basis. I love it and hate it as I wake up and as I go to cook.
Yeah.
But I do understand it. I mean, it's very challenging to actually get everything together. For us, it's a little bit easier. We do it for a living, but even at home, when I have to cook at home, sometimes I get frustrated because I don't have all the equipment. I don't have all the cool toys to play with. So I understand it fully. Yes,
you get it. Now I want to talk about this particular fish dish that you guys have come up with and adding your own kind of twist. Chat to us about that.
The pickled fish, one of my favorite things to eat, and I think the influence that we've got in South Africa from the Cape Malay side is huge, and it's one of my favorite cuisines in the Cape. And when it comes to putting twists on food, I think every chef likes to do something and try and make something their own rather than just going for the same old recipe. But I've had some very good pickled fish in the last couple of years. I know my team likes to bring in pickled fish after Easter, so it's always a treat to do something like that. And like I said, for us, we will always add a little bit more sweet, like the pomegranates we've got in there, making it a salad. It's something like that we like to do as a nation. I think we like to add our sweetness when we have to sit with our pickles. So yeah, it's kind of that. But inspiration itself is just the utter beauty of Cape Malay cuisine. One of my favorites.
Yeah, I want to talk about the reception to this new twist. But before I say that, I think I'm a little bit boring because I love pickled fish, just, traditional, good old onions, and that's it.
Okay. Yeah. I think everyone's got their little. I had someone when was it? I had this chat on Sunday that one of my friends over, and we started talking about pickled fish. It's amazing how these things happen, and now it's you start talking about pickled fish this time of the year, and they started talking about how their grandmother used to make it. It's the best. They need the recipe. They need to find it. And I said, you know what? It's probably the most simplest recipe you'll find is the one with the onions and the peppercorn and the turmeric, and that's the one that we remember as kids. So. It takes you back a little bit, as we like to do. I like to use my own spices instead of using a curry. So that's where the little bit of the chef skills come in, rather than using the curry paste. But the curry base itself is absolutely beautiful. Like I said, we're blessed in this country.
Yeah, absolutely. We're chatting to Beau du Toit, of course, representing Salt Chef, about their new twist to the typical pickled fish recipe. Maybe you've got a pickled fish recipe that you've tried out. Share with us on 0617981075. Before I give on over to Romeo, like I said, we're chatting to Chef Beau. And if you'd like to ask him some questions, do so on our WhatsApp line 0617981075.
Chef, I'd love to find out, do you always have base ingredients that you use when you make a dish? Or are you sometimes innovative and you play around and experimental with the type of dish that you make?
You can play around, but I think the basics is a very good point to start in. When you start with your French cooking and your bases, you start with what we call a mirepoix, which is onion, carrots, celery, and leek. And if you start with any base sauce, if you're making a stew, that is your way to go. In different cooking styles, I think it's different. If you look at your Thai cuisine, you start with onion, garlic, ginger. That's general shallots, garlic, and ginger. If you go to a different style of cooking, the Mexicans start with something different. South Africa, I think we start with spices. I think it's the first thing that goes into our food. But the base of it is extremely important. So if you understand the flavors of the food that you cook, you can start to play a little bit, but play it in the beginning. Play it safe. If you're at home, I generally play it safe with what I know works.
Lovely. And what key ingredients did you choose for this dish, and how do they reflect the flavors and spirit of Easter?
I want to go sugar and vinegar and spice. Sugar and spice, sugar and spice, and everything nice. We this time of the year is also it's I always say the Cape Town or the Cape Oceans. This is where we spit out quality from the sea. So you can look at the fishes. We generally use a yellowtail or Cape salmon, and you can even go hake on your pickled fish. But that depends on the season that you're making it. So for us, being seasonal is extremely important. So use what Mother Nature's giving us. Don't try and be fancy by importing. I always laugh at people that want to import everything. We've got everything here in South Africa. So if it's local for me is the first thing that we start. We always start with salt. We always start with preserving. We always start with pickling. So that is the base of our cooking style. And the pickled fish fits perfectly into that. And local fish, and get it fresh. If you can, go to the harbor and get something that comes off the boat. So it's not the most important thing, the specific type of fish you use, but it's the absolute freshness that you can get from the ocean.
Love that. How can our listeners visit you or even stay in contact and finding out about other recipes as well?
Oh, they can go on our Instagram page at the Salt Road, and our Facebook one, the Salt Road ZA. They can email me or Craig. Mine is beau@thesaltroad.co.za, and he's Craig at thesaltroad.co.za. We're open for calls, communication. We love speaking to our guests. We've also got a restaurant at Waterford Estate in Stellenbosch, and you'll find our head chef Brent is cooking up a storm on that side. We do events everywhere. We like to take our cooking everywhere. We're not based at one location. We come to your house, we cook, we go do weddings, we do a little bit of everything. So if there's something in food we don't do and you can find it, we'll do it for you.
Wow, bro. Thank you so much for not choosing accounting and tantalizing our taste buds.
Thank you so much, Chef Beau, for your time, and always such a pleasure chatting to you. Have a fantastic Tuesday and an even blessed Easter.
Perfect. Same to you. Have a lovely day. Thanks for having me.
All right. Bless you. Keep well. Bye.
Bye-bye.